Hello everyone. In this video, I will tell you about taurodontism, and then at the end we shall discuss some MCQs on taurodontism. Taurodontism is derived from Greek word tauros, which means bull, and odontos, which means tooth. Taurodontism is an abnormal enlargement of the body and pulp chamber of a multi-rooted tooth. Since the pulp chamber is enlarged, the root length is reduced. The pulp chamber is large while the root length is reduced because there is an apical displacement of the pulp floor and bifurcation. It was commonly found in Neanderthals. The overall tooth shape resembles that of a molar tooth of a cud chewing animal. A cud chewing animal is like a cattle or goat or sheep. Based on the relative displacement of pulpal floor, Shaw in 1928 classified taurodontism as first, hypotaurodont, which shows mild form of taurodontism; second, mesotaurodont, which shows moderate form of taurodontism; and lastly, hypertaurodont, which shows severe form of taurodontism. Taurodontism usually involves mandibular molars, and the teeth may be affected unilaterally or bilaterally. Permanent molars are more commonly affected as compared to the primary molars, and there is no gender predilection. That is, it is seen in both males and females with almost equal frequency. It often shows field effect, that is, usually all the molars in a quadrant are involved. And when all the molars are involved, first molars are least affected while second and third molars show more prominent taurodontism. Taurodontism is more common in patients with hypodontia, cleft lip and cleft palate. It occurs as an isolated trait or associated with syndromes like Klinefelter syndrome, Down syndrome, trichoosseous syndrome, amelogenesis imperfecta type 1E and type 4, ectodermal dysplasia, hypophosphatasia and hyperphosphatasia oligophrenia taurodontism triad. According to Mangian, taurodontism may be a primitive pattern, a mutation, a specialized or retrograde character, atavistic feature, that is an ancestral feature, and it is an X-linked trait, though it may be an autosomal dominant trait or a familial trait. Let's now go to treatment and prognosis. No specific treatment is required for taurodontism, and due to enlarged pulp chamber, endodontic treatment may be difficult. That is, there may be difficulty in exploration, instrumentation and obturation of the pulp canal. Since there is no coronal extension of pulp, there is usually no problem with routine restorative treatment. Let's now discuss some MCQs related to taurodontism. Taurodontism occurs due to a defect in which stage of tooth development? Option A, histodifferentiation. Option B, morphodifferentiation. Option C, apposition. And option D, initiation. The correct answer to this question would be option B, that is morphodifferentiation. Now notice that in taurodontism, the defect is in the shape of the tooth. The tooth has properly been mineralized, but the shape is defective and hence the defect is in the morphodifferentiation stage. Let's go to next question. Which of the following is a feature of taurodontism? Option A, enlarged root and root canal. Option B, invagination on crown surface extending to the root trunk. Option C, enlarged root trunk and pulp chamber. And option D, dwarf root. The correct answer to this question would be option C, that is enlarged root trunk and pulp chamber. As we have discussed in the video, in taurodontism, the root trunk and the pulp chamber are enlarged while the root and root canal are reduced in size, not enlarged. So option C is correct. Question 3. Taurodontism may be commonly encountered in option A, Asians, option B, Eskimos, option C, Native Americans, and option D, all of the above. Now, we have discussed in the video that it was commonly seen in Neanderthals, but in today's time, it may be commonly seen in Eskimos. Taurodontism is more prevalent with option A, hypodontia, option B, hyperdontia, option C, roots, and option D, cleft palate. So, the correct answer to this question, as we have also discussed in the video, would be option A, that is hypodontia. Yes, in the video we have discussed that it is seen associated with both hypodontia and cleft palate, but with hypodontia the association is about 38%. So it is very high. So more than cleft palate, it is associated with hypodontia. Next question. Taurodontism may be described as an option A, familial trait, option B, X-linked trait, option C, autosomal dominant trait, and option D, all of the above. The correct answer to this question would be option D, all of the above. That is, taurodontism can be a familial trait or an X-linked trait or an autosomal dominant trait. Now, since taurodontism is associated with a number of syndromes, also it is associated with hypodontia, cleft lip and cleft palate. So, it may be due to any of these three, right? It can be either a familial trait or an X-linked trait or a autosomal dominant trait. So, that was all. I hope you like this video, and if you do like this video, please like, comment and share this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.